All right, everybody's there. Ham's going to call in. This is impromptu. Sorry for my hair. He wants to go live now. I probably won't be able to stay on after he's done. I could come back, I guess, because I have something to do promptly at sort of 1 o'clock. Let's see if what the green stocks, Logic's at 3 cents. To me, that's not really green. And then Finger is down a little bit. And DJT is down 51 cents, 16.76. If you consider that a predictor of who's going to be the next president, I don't know. It doesn't bode well. Does not bode well. But remember, before you get to reading the tea leaves, that there's a I should look it up, but there's a expiry of the restriction on DJT stock, and Trump's not going to sell, but other people might sell. Trump media stock dips after second assassination attempt. September 6th, Trump can start selling his Truth Social stock this week. But he said he's not going to. But that's probably one of the reasons it's down. All right.
Taylor.
Yeah, you're live.
Give me 1 second.
I'll answer at a more convenient time for you next time.
All right. Give me a second. I'm just telling people I'm live with you now.
I'm sure it's going to change their lives.
I just thought that we're alive. I didn't put that we're going live. I said we're live.
I'm alive. Still alive. Oh.
All right, so let's start the day
again,
everyone, with the same stupid pattern. The stock opens up a nickel, 7 cents, no selling, and all of a sudden they start the manipulation, cha-cha, back and forth, selling 200, 100, the same nonsense. Accumulation is how you beat them. I told you, spikes do not work. Number one, they really don't allow spikes. There's spikes at 10 and 20 cents. That's the extent of a spike here. Some stocks spike $1, $1.50, then they manipulate it lower. This stock, they can't let it go up 20 cents, 30 cents. I told you, the real short, people, please write this down. Go to shortsqueeze.com. It's right there. All the proof is right there. Some idiot is short 1,720,000 shares at an average price of 250, 260 area. I keep forgetting. I'm going back and forth, maybe 255, whatever it is. But each day they have to pay a toll. Like you go over the bridge, like the Verrazano Bridge or the Battery Tunnel going in there, you got to pay a toll. So it costs them money each day. Now their rates are different depending on the stock loan. All right, since there's not many shares in this float, they have to be paying, pretty hefty fee. Let's say it's a half a penny a day. That's 2.5 a week. That's 10 cents a month, just to be short this stock. Now remember, if they're paying that fee and they're short at 250, in 1 month, the most they can make is 240 because they already paid out 10 cents. They lost. The next month, maybe it's 230, goes lower and lower. We are at that point now where the stock is almost above their break even, where they sold all their shorts, excuse me. So let's say I'm just going to make it 250. It could be 255, could be 260, could be 245, depending on the rate. But they are not making money at that point. They are in the red. So they're in this game to make money, obviously, on the trades. and they pressed their bet last week, and they sold 300,000 down by $2, two something. So they lowered their cost. They're trying to break the stock. They're not trying to get a higher average. They're trying to keep it down. A real short would only short when the stock spikes. And people say, how do you know that? Well, I look at the range of the days and I follow the volume, and we can actually tell where they're selling it. And they're selling it anywhere between 2 and 220. So that lowers their cost. They're not selling it at 3. They sold it before that. So they're doing it down at the low. All right. So again, these guys are just trying to manipulate. They're not trying to make money as a professional short would. These guys are just trying to hold it down. That's their game plan. All right. So again, it's close to where they go upside down, meaning that they're not in the black anymore. They're in the red. And you can see 240, 242, all of a sudden they come pushing it down. 2 weeks ago, we traded to 318. It didn't last up there 18 minutes. They were pushing it back down. Remember, if I was the real short or anybody on this phone, just make believe we're the short. Don't you want to sell stock higher? $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10? That's what I would do. They cannot hold on to their position if the stock rallies. They get a margin call, meaning they have to put up more money. So that is what the panic is in their eyes, trying to hold it down so it doesn't go up. They want no momentum. They don't want anybody to buy the stock. They want to keep it where it's doing nothing. Hurry up, hold it down, make believe nothing's going on. But you can see the panic in their eye. And this is how you educate yourself on when a short's going to break. These are the keys. Now, I can't tell you what it looks like in Tesla. Or I can't tell you what it looks like in Kodak. I'm not following them every trade. But in FingerMotion, I follow every trade. And you can see it. I just described to you. Despite the 318, they pushed it back down to 215, 210. They tried to break it at 2 again. That didn't work. Now it pops up again. So the accumulation is what's going to kill these guys. If you want to buy stock and you're afraid to buy it, which I get it sometimes, if you want to buy 1,000 shares, you can buy 300 at 230, get 227 for 300, get 222, then 220. All right? Again, that's accumulation, so you get an average price. And that's how you should sell it. If you pay 234 and the stock starts running, you can sell 200 at, let's say, 4, 200 at 6, 200 at 8, and then you have all your money off the table and you still own 400 shares for whatever it's going to do. And this way you don't ever lose money in the stock market and you're able to stay in longer. Imagine if I would have sold GameStop instead of selling it at 118, held on to, 10, 20,000 shares versus dumping it all at 18, giving everybody a high five saying we killed it. If I would have held on, I would have made more money than I would have made on the bigger position than just having a smaller position because they went up another 400 points. All right, but again, stupid me, everyone does it. And you know what, we were looking at a home run and we're like, okay, let's take it while we can. But again, the key is stay longer in the game on stocks that you have all the information on. I think we do have all the information on FingerMotion. I believe the short is 230 million. Yesterday, data was posted and it showed you that they shorted another 105,000 shares just on one day. All right, 105,000. Do 100. 100 times 5 is 500,000 a week. Is 2 million a month. See how 230 goes up real quick? I don't even add it in anymore. But I'm just saying, they're just making 50,000 a day. It's 250 a week. It's $1 million a month. 6 months go by, another 6, 7 million shares. That's what happens. And people don't believe that these numbers are that big. The difference between this and a GameStop or a DJT is I can't tell in those stocks if they're selling and buying it back in algorithm. In FingerMotion, we can see the buys come in from our people and they sell the shorts by them. And we never see them covering any. You can see right now it's 228 bids for 100 shares. And there's always more shares for sale than on the bid. So if you were to go to sell 10,000 at 228, they take 100 shares and then just drop the bid. So they do not buy back. And I posted a story a long time ago from the head of the NASDAQ, Tom Gearer, saying they were concerned that people were getting the market maker exemption, that's the loophole, that they would just sell and they never buy shares. That's exactly what's happening at FingerMotion. In DJT and GameStop, I have to believe with that big volume that they are going back and forth, trying to make a penny, half a penny. So it's tough to tell how big the short is in those names all the time. So the stock is this 228 bid for 100. I don't even know what traded. I don't even know if 100 traded, and they printed it at 227. They're just trying to make you think that the stock is going lower. And of course, it's 2,000 for sale, 300 shares on the buy side, and it always trades lower. That's their head game. People, the stock market is a head game. They're trying to con you into selling. That's all they're trying to do. When a stock is ripping on a big short squeeze, the SEC was always concerned that retail investors would go chasing a short squeeze. William, what do I tell people about if you miss it? What are you supposed to do? Stay away, right?
Chase it. Gamble it all.
I would never say chase it. You're out of your bird if you do. I've never chased one. I'd rather miss it, but I would never chase it. And if you see a stock that you thought you should have chased and it takes off, if you're that concerned that you're going to miss it, just go buy 100 shares at the market. Don't buy 10,000 shares, just so you don't get wiped out when they crash. There was a stock yesterday, I can't remember the symbol, hold on a second. Give me 1 second. The symbol was JBDI. JBDI. It was an IPO. It squeezed to $40, and then at the end of the day, it crashed down to $1.79. It's $1.79 now. I heard people bought it up to $7, sold it at 15. Those people I know, and then it went to 40 because they were cursing that it went higher. But at the end of the day, it was breaking the price that they paid for it. That, my friends, is people shorting it, got run over, paid the high. Now people are stepping in here trying to buy it. Hopefully it bounces back. I know nothing about this company. I'm just talking about never chase anything, because look what happens when they crash. Once a short is finished buying and covering, they crash. And there you go. All right, so that's the end of it. That's how you play the stock market. If you want to chase, you can make all the half a dollars and dollars on the way up. Let's say you did 10 trades in a row, William. You made 50 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents, blah, 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 blah. Equivalent to like $6. Imagine going to buy 10,000 shares of that shit at 20, you're down $18. That's all it takes. Is one horrible trade to wipe you out. And I'm trying not to get you wiped out. If you want to get wiped out, you like to go to a casino, knock yourself out. Go chase whatever you like to do. All right, that's not how you do it. Professional people do not do that. Professional people are buying GDC at $4.50, $5.50, and the shorts you can see came in, trying to knock it down today. How do we know the short's here? Well, the short went from 65,000 to 1.2 million. That's the real short. I don't think the float's even that big in this thing. I think it's 4 million shares, and they shorted almost 33% of it already. So the manipulation is hard to see. You have to understand the reasoning why they're there. But that is for professional people to play that game, not for me. The easy money has been made in GBC. Now it's professional. I'm just teaching what professionals do. How it works out for them. Hey, if you're running $50 million and you lose 200,000, 300,000 in this name, and you've already made 2 million in it, there's no big deal. That's how professionals play. They need to play the game. You need to survive and make money. You're a different character. Think like what you're supposed to be. You're never going to come in and make a home run on something that's moving volatile like this, because you're going to buy it. If it starts to run, you're going to sell it up $1 or $2 and give yourself a high five, and then turn around. It's going to be up 50. You're going to say, "What the fuck? Why did I hold on to it?" You know what? Just keep nickeling and diming them, and you'll make a fortune doing it that way. FingerMotion is a different case. What I believe is that we have something that's going sideways to nowhere right now, and that the opportunity is a major move on the upside. Now, I say it's 230 million. I know the real short is 1,720,000. Okay, when they panic here, even if it's not 230, which I believe it's higher, let's say it's 100 million, 50 million. This thing will be $50 to $100 just on those numbers. Forget 230 million is going to do. It's going to be out of this world. The real short is the one that's going to break first, and you can see it's getting to the point where they're not really doing too much. They're manipulating it, but they're not selling too much like they were before. All right, GDC's been dead quiet. All of a sudden, traded 300,000 shares trying to knock it down. So they're pressing their bet there. Remember volatility? I told you about volatility, DJP, volatile at 20-something dollars. The other day it spiked to 22, back down. It's all over the place. People are shorting it, trying to kill them. It's insane. I do believe the upside, and that stock is going to be huge. I just don't know how many points down, when is it going to turn to go up. I just don't know. The way to play it is buy cheap options and don't worry about it. If it's going to 20, it's going to 40. If it's going to 40, it's going to 80. That's how I look at it. So buying cheap, out of the money calls and not paying attention to it, that's how you roll the dice in this thing. You could try to pick a bottom, buy 1,000 shares as it runs up, sell it, and then use the profit and buy some calls. That's not a bad way to play it. But holding on to the stock is just out of control because whoever's manipulating this thing, I have to believe they're going to grab them soon because this is just insane. You're shorting the next president of the United States stock. They attempted to kill him. They're buying puts. They're shorting in front of his attempts on his life. And you think that they're going to let him get away with this thing? No way. There's no way. And if they do, they're fools. All right, so that's a volatile stock. FingerMotion is a sound sleep stock, moving up and down a quarter, 30 cents. When the game begins here, remember the company's working on that special dividend. I don't know what the delay is, but that issue, when they're going to give a 10% warrant. So if you're short 230 million shares, you're going to be short 23 million warrants. Warrants carry margin, they carry delivery problems, they expose them. And if you're real short 1.7, you're going to be short 170,000 shares more of the warrants. Pat Burns' final thing at Overstock, his final thing before he left, was giving out a special dividend. His stock went from 3 to 128. Special dividends are different. GTI did it. It was at 2 3/4 the first one. The stock squeezed to 9. I know people that were converting it, selling their stock at 5, 6. When it went to 9, they were converting it, buying it from the company at 2 3/4 and selling the stock at 8 or 9. That's what it's about. The second dividend they did, Wall Street didn't allow people to convert. They were telling you if you converted it and paid the company for the stock, they wouldn't allow you to put the stock back in the system. Well, FingerMotion did a little twist to that and is now making a tradable warrant. It has a CUSIP, so it's in your account and they can't stop it now. All right, so everybody learns a little lesson as you go down the road. If you create a new warrant, you have to exercise it. The mechanism was to pay the company and they would put the stock in your account. The brokerage firms that are short blocked that if you did pay for it, they would not allow the stock to come back into your account electronic. That is the easiest transaction in the world, and they were blocking it because they didn't have the dividends. FingerMotion is now bypassed that one and is going to allow it to trade as a separate warrant. That means it has a CUSIP, and they have no choice but to give it to you. It's like a dividend, like a normal dividend. So FingerMotion has gone around the old trap, which we live and learn as you go along. Remember, these guys are changing the rules as you go along. All right, so FingerMotion has learned that the way to do it is using a warrant versus giving out something that's exercisable and trying to trap them that way. All right, so the company's doing that. I put up, William, the alert system again. Someone sent me the story. It was on CBS Market Watch, and I put it up, the emergency alert system that they're putting in all the vehicles in China, the emergency vehicles. It says in there that they only have the only one that has a license of its kind. China's a pretty big country and have the only one of its kind, and someone wants to hurry up and sell it lower. That just tells you that this stock is completely being manipulated by shorts. The shorts stem from a toxic debt spiral guy, and that is Lynn Partners, Jeff Easton. He's notorious for it. When he came into the stock, there was a few million shares naked shorted with him. I think it was 5 million.
You told me 6, maybe?
Yeah, maybe 6, right? Whatever it was, right? When I reported on every day, we weren't yelling that it's 300 million. We weren't saying anything like that. We were just documented. And then Lynn Partners came around and it exploded. I put a truck out when it was up to 103 million. We took a photo of it. Now we're up to 230 million 2 years later. These guys are notorious. Just go read the news on K&W, Lynn Partners, their toxic note. They have the right to convert at a 0.0001 cent. So why wouldn't you sell a billion shares of a stock? Even if I sold it at 2 cents, I could buy it back at 0.0001 cent. That's what they do. They have the right to do that. That CEO did not read the instructions, or was just desperate for the money. But anyway, he's slaughtering his investors. The stock was 90 when they took the note. It's 29 cents, and the company's raised more money again. So the company has completely diluted itself at the lowest levels possible. And that's what debt spiral guy does. FingerMotion paid off the debt spiral guy. My friend bought 350,000 shares. He paid $10 for it. So he paid $3.5 million at $10. And the company took the money, was paying back Lynn, and Lynn didn't even want to take the money back. Imagine getting paid in full as a lender with interest. You turned it down. They didn't want it because they needed stock, but eventually they had to take it. All right, that's how you got rid of them. And still they're trapped, and they still can't get out of it because they don't have the right to convert into any stock. So they trapped themselves. And it's right there. And me and William met a CEO, and the CEO told us he went to see Jeff Easton, and the first thing he said to them was, "Hey, I'm not shorting your stock." And she said, that was the strangest thing I ever heard. That the CEO would say, Jeff Easton would say that as a toxic lender. The first thing out of his mouth is, "I'm not shorting your stock." And she said, "I was just stopping by to say hello." All right, so there's your sign that this guy is a bad dude. People we met, me and William met a gentleman, the first words out of his mouth, he's a complete scumbag. I met a kid that works for a lender, and he said the whole street knows they're bad. Who's he tied to? Ham FNGR. One of our shareholders just put up a photo, William, you haven't seen it, a wonderful view of Fisher Island, and I retweeted. That's where Ham FNGR lives. Sold $10 million, naked shorting. Has a beautiful place, on the most exclusive place in the United States. So exclusive, you need to take a ferry to go on it. You just can't go on it and tour around. It's south of Miami. It's right off the tip of Miami. And he's living there, bought a place for $10 million. That means he stole $100 million because he has to finance and pay all the fees and live this luxury lifestyle. Where to get all the money from? And he was caught for a naked short selling scheme. The DOJ absolutely needs to take that guy and lock him up. And the best part about it, William, he's done deals with Jeff Easton. They've done many deals together. What's the birds of a feather flock together? Is that how they say it, William?
I guess. It's not one of the hardest things to remember.
But they, these guys work together, steal money together, laugh together. They know the ins and outs of lending, prime broker, and naked short selling. Brokers they use, maybe Canaccord. The Canaccord CEO is under investigation. He's been given up by the Anson Fund. I can post that story again. The CEO of Canaccord. It was a gateway for naked short sellers forever. Oh, we're good guys. They're naked short sellers. All the shorts were going through U.S. into Canada, back into the U.S. Right? That's how they used to do it. Now they're doing it from all over the world. So it's basically, it's all you can steal in the U.S. right now. All right, so it's all you can steal right now in the U.S., and that's what's going to end in 37 days. In 4 more hours, William, it goes to 36. These guys are playing chicken with all of us, and the difference between a DJT and a GameStop and this is FingerMotion is not raising money. They're a small company that's got great contracts, has opportunities to make a lot of money. And as William described yesterday, Amazon had that same opportunity 10 years ago, and they just earned a profit yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
10 years of building a business. FingerMotion may be profitable in the next 2 to 3 months. The CEO said he expects it, shortly. So it took them 10 years. FingerMotion is moving much quicker. It's a smaller company, but they can move a lot quicker. They have deals with AIZ, $10 billion US company. Pacific Life Re, I think it's a $5 billion or a $10 billion reinsurance. Munich Re is a $50 billion reinsurance company. That's just three major companies that have dealings with FNGR, a $2.29 stock. Remember, no big company signs deals unless they vet and see what these companies are about. All right? And that means these guys have knighted FingerMotion in three different directions. That these guys are real and have the contacts and the information to get them to do business in China. And FingerMotion is that company. Yesterday, I told you the story. I guess that's where the buying came from. There's rumors out of Asia that this company is getting some sort of AI deal in China. I know nothing about it. I don't even know what you use AI for. So again, I didn't post it because it is a rumor. It's coming from people in Asia. I told you yesterday on the call yesterday, if that's true, it's a buzzword. And if China was to give it to them, that's pretty remarkable because the only person that would allow that would be the Chinese government. And if FingerMotion gets this deal, that basically tells you that they knighted by the Chinese government if they do get that deal, whatever it may be. We do know they got the emergency platform in all the emergency vehicles in China nationwide. So these guys definitely do have inroads to the Chinese government. Does anyone have any questions with it?
Which knee is it? Your left or your right, or is it your Wii? Is it your Wii knee? Someone asks.
It's my left knee. Last night I jumped out of bed and I broke two of my toes on my right foot. So I'm falling apart. I need the surgery to get to rest up. I need to hurry up. They say it's going to take 2 months. So the stock was just 228 bid for 100, no trades, and it's 227 bid for 100 shares. Isn't it amazing? Hurry up. Sell. That's what they want to tell you. Sell. Hurry up. And the only way a trade is going to happen at 227 is if they do it to themselves. Because no one's selling 100 shares. I post that all the time. I put the time and sales up there about the time, about the time and sales of the trades, and you can see them. They don't do anything, just make believe. I'm just going to hop for a second to GDC when.
Well, while you're doing that, one guy's asking you on that subject: is this the dip?
In GDC?
That's what he's asking.
I was just looking at it. Yeah, it popped down to. I don't know if that's the low. I do not know. But it traded down to 469. All of a sudden, it firms up. What they try to do is they try to create volatility. And the volatility, as you can see on the naked short selling side, is always a spike down. It's very nowhere. They don't spike them up. And I posted it 100 times. Naked shorts cannot spike them up because they get margin calls. So depending on who the short is, they cannot handle it. GDC, they obviously cannot handle it, and they're spiking it lower. They pushed it down to 469, selling shares at the market, maybe getting some stop losses to go off. And then all of a sudden it stops. I've been looking at it for 15 minutes. It was 323,000. It's 325 and nothing is going on. When I pulled the selling, it stopped. But they take a break. It's the same thing. DJT, spike it down, spike it down. For some reason there, someone is so trapped there, probably under investigation, they're trying to get people to bail out so they can come and spike it back up again. They push it down, then they come back and cover. That's how shorts cover. They push it down low, and when they come back up, they want the investors to sit there and say, hey, let me take my loss. Let me get out of this thing. That's their mentality. That's how you cover. That's how shorts try to cover. FingerMotion, there's no more room for volatility. No one's bailing out of it. You can see it. It's been the same thing for 20 minutes. The volatility's gone. When there's no volatility and they can't push it down, the only way it's going to go is up.
Can you explain how or why synthetic fake shares need to be covered?
Why do they need to be covered?
Can you explain why synthetic fake shares have to cover?
Well, it's like a fake $100 bill. They do everything in their power to remove them from the system, right? Go to a supermarket. They put it, I had a $100 bill the other day. Went to the supermarket. I was going to take a photo of the girl putting the yellow marker to it and then looking it up at the sky. So obviously a counterfeit is a bad thing, right? The synthetic is a counterfeit. It's created out of thin air. Companies cannot have counterfeit shares in the system. It needs to get back to normal where there's a number of shares in the float, and that's all that can exist. And if you want to borrow it, if they still allow shorting, you have to register that you borrowed the shares, like we see now, 1,720,000. They don't want to show us that number, 1,720,000, because they know we're going to use it against them. All right, but they have to show it to us, and they are showing it to us. And they probably hate it that we report on it. But a synthetic share is a counterfeit, and it needs to be removed from the system. Etsy lost $60 because Andrew Luck said that a counterfeit T-shirt. People who sell a counterfeit Super Bowl ticket go to jail. A counterfeit $100 bill, you go to jail. A counterfeit handbag, you go to jail. Can you hold on 1 second? It's my doctor. Hold on a second.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. All right, let's see.
Hey, William, I'm sorry.
Don't let
Are
it
you there,
happen.
William?
Don't let it happen again.
They're delivering some sort of bicycle that I need to use when I get the surgery. They monitor that I'm actually moving my leg.
But you have to use your right foot, and you broke the toes in it, so you're.
I put a little duct tape on those babies. They're okay.
It says you're shit out of luck.
So here it is. It's 27, 227, 229, 100 shares to buy, and the 30 offer was front run by 100 shares to sell at 229. So the poor soul that was offering at 230, his 2,000 shares, he won't be able to sell because the short jumped in front of him. William, if the person that offered at 229 is a naked short, the person at 230 trying to sell 2,000 is a naked short. All right, this is how they operate. They want you to believe that the stock is trending a certain way. That's just how they do it. I'm trying to show you in real time how they do it. And you say, how do you know that? Guess what I did? I covered for shorts. I did exactly what they're doing. When we want a stock to go lower, we would offer lower. And we would drive it down. Hopefully people panic out. And then I would come in and buy 1 million shares and take it back up to unchanged. And then I'd walk away. I go outside and get a hot dog and let it drift back down because I was the only buyer. And as it drifts back down and I come back later and I come take it back up again, people who missed the first sale saying, screw this, let me get out. And that's how you scoop up investors that want to bail out and the short gets the cover. FingerMotion, 100 shares to buy. Now we have 200 shares for sale. They're piling it on, getting everyone to get us all panicky. Hurry up. We want it to go lower. That's what they're trying to do. I'm only repeating it so you guys understand it. I don't want to teach you like a child, but this is how it works.
Does China's heavily declining economy worry you on how it could affect Finger?
Yes, it does. It does worry me that everyone's going to hang up their cell phones and never use their cell phones again in China. That's the word. So everyone in the U.S., when our economy goes to shit, does everyone hand in their phones? Is that gentleman who's asking you that? Would you hand in your phones? Would you take the phone away from your children, your mother, your wife, whoever? You have to give up your phone. No one's giving up their phones. FingerMotion is in the phone business. They have to pay for their phone usage. If you do not have a phone, there's no money in China. You need your phone. Everyone does everything with the use of their phones and apps. Right, William?
Mm-hmm.
You need that. If you're using your phone, guess what it creates? data. They know where you're going, what you're spending, what you're doing, how fast you drive. That's what FingerMotion does. FingerMotion is working with the Chinese government. They have a government contract. The government's going to pay them. Right? This isn't getting a contract with GameStop or Bed Bath & Beyond that's going bankrupt. This is the Chinese government. All right, so I have no concerns about FingerMotion. I think they're in a tremendous spot. The opportunities off the charts, and they're in one of the biggest economies, the biggest economy in the world. The only thing wrong with this company is Jeff Easton and his friends naked shorting the stock, and someone trying to manipulate the stock, trying to sell 200 shares right now. That's what's wrong with this company. And investors cannot buy stock every second. A naked short seller can sell shares. All they do is hit a sell button. If you were long 100 shares and you wanted to get out, and it was offered at 230, you just sell it and you go home. They're not selling it. They're just trying to manipulate. If I wanted to sell it, I sell my 100 shares and move along. 100 shares on a penny or two is a non-event. They're using the smallest amount of numbers of shares to manipulate a stock. They don't want to sell 10,000 down here because now they're short another 10,000. Number one, they probably can't borrow anymore. And number two, they can't hide the naked shorts that much anymore. So where are they going? They don't want to do it down here. Yesterday, the volume picked up and they sold into it again, another 100,000. So for everyone on the phone, yesterday we reported they sold 105,000 shares yesterday. Right, William? Did they buy it back today? Does anyone see them cover them? I don't see it. So when you say, how do you know the naked shorts didn't cover them? We watch it. I just showed you. We watch every trade. I know people that bought stock today, so I know they didn't buy it. It's right there. There's 200 shares to buy. How come they're not buying it? They sold it at 240 today. Wanted to cover it. They don't cover anything. They want no positive momentum. They can't cover. If they start covering, they only kill themselves. Any other questions? And on the GDC front, the volume was 223. It's 227 now. And you can see that the bear raid that they started, they're just looking for sellers and they could scoop them up on it. And again, there's no sellers here. So again, these guys are just trying to drive the stock lower, and we'll see how that plays out. At least learn how these stocks trade, because that's what they do.
Do you know how many shares are short in Vocal?
He killed everybody already.
CLNV or VDRM?
What's the CLNV?
Yeah, that's clear, whatever the hell it was. That's the one that cleaned plastic out of the ocean.
If that company can do that, it's a disgrace what they're doing to it. Everyone goes to the ocean. Listen, they got it at 0.10. That's what you do when you get debt spiral financing. I don't know if they have it, but that's what
they do. They do.
All right, so
that's also a Frank Benedetto IR company. Is it connected? It seems like every company he's IR on takes a shit deal, but it's probably not his fault.
You can't shoot him. Listen, he's an IR guy. He gets paid. He has a family, and he's just telling the story. With the CEO,
nobody here has a family.
I got it, but I would never invest in any company that's doing debt spiral. I'm telling you. What do you think? The short sellers go in and say, "Hey, hire Frank Benedetto"? They don't do that. He's the guy that's on the
COSM did. Anyway, let's get off of that. He's a great guy. He's got a family. He's out there doing the right thing by his family. Ham could sell monkey grease as hair rejuvenation product. Do you think he could get Trump's team to buy or mention Finger?
They know all about us. I told you that 3 weeks ago. Someone that's close to Trump brought our message to him. He read it right in front of us. I wish I could get the guy on the phone, but his voice would be recognized and he would not. I shouldn't even be telling you this, but I did tell you the day I did make that message. I did tell you that. Listen, he's firing Gary Gensler day one. He's hiring Pat Byrne. Pat Byrne is our guy. What more do you want me to say? Listen, we all want it over in 2 seconds. These guys are going to jail. They're not getting away. And the more they fuck with DJT, the better it is for us. Whoever's fucking around there, they should be taken out and hung. That's a disgrace what they're doing there. And there's so, you can see all the proof. That's the craziest part. Frankie Nez put out a story. John Tobacco put a story. They're shorting it before the assassination attempts. You name it. You tell me, what kind of country is this that allow people to do that? Are you kidding me? Trump is going to hang them when they get there. When they come in, they're going to get them. So we got 37 days to go. In 3 hours, it goes to 36. Again, a synthetic, fake, counterfeit share needs to be removed from the system. That's why they spend all this money getting rid of counterfeit money. Go look at anyone. Go hand out a couple of copies of fake bills. See how long you're left on the street. The stock market is the only place where it's allowed. And if it is allowed, why aren't we allowed to do it? Look at Ham FNGR. I would love to live on Fisher Island. I went there once. A friend of mine I knew lived there. He sold his fish business and up in Boston, and he moved to Fisher Island and invited my family down there. And you can't get on it. It's one of the most exclusive places in the country. How many lives there? That's that bastard. And 7,500 people signed some sort of document saying he's a criminal. They were right on the nose, and the SEC caught him, and yet he's walking around with living there with stolen money. And his partner is Jeff Easton. They both did deals together. Listen, these guys don't think the past went away. All their tickets, all their sales, everything they've done has gone away. When the feds knock on the door, the brokers are going to give up everybody. Everyone involved, the bankers, Benchmark, whoever they did business with, they're all going to rat each other out. Look at Andrew Luck. He's giving up everybody to stay out of jail. That's how it works. No other questions?
One guy's telling you that he had his knees replaced.
Both of them?
At the same time, he kept his weenie. He says, do the therapy religiously.
That I'm good at. I'm very active and I play ball all the time, so I don't have no problem with that. How long was he out? That was my biggest question.
5 days. He was walking without a walker in 5 days.
I'm going to have to walk with a walker with one knee. Oh, goodness.
You'll be
all
fine.
Right, they took out the 200 shares, William. It's 27 to 30 again. The big seller's gone. At FingerMotion. Obviously, 240 to 260 range is a real tight spot for the real short. You saw it last time. We got to 318. They pushed it back down to 210. With it, as fast as it went up, that's how fast they pushed it back down. They don't want this thing going up. But they're telling you, it shows you the break points. If you were paying attention in GDC, the stock spiked. At first, I told you they had to get above $1. They did. The next thing, it went to 218, I think it was, or 220. Then they pushed it back to $1.15. Then it climbed right back up again. And I told you, it broke to 220, it's going to take off. Well, broke 220, went to 12. So you can see the points. FingerMotion's point of interest to me is somewhere between 240, 265. Once it breaks above that and holds, like the last time it didn't hold, they came back and attacked it. Once it stays above that, that's when it's going to take off. Because the real short, this idiot that's short 1,720,000 shares, will be in a position where every 50 cents he's losing $800,000, $900,000. He has infinite losses on the upside, and the most he can make is $2.50. People, that is a moronic trade. The only reason he's here is someone's telling him to stay put, and they're going to protect them. But at some point, they cannot protect them. And at that point, it could be, we can hang up the phone and the real short could just say, I'm done, and just run in and start buying it. And that starts the game. Any second that can happen. And I'm sure the conversation's going back and forth between the real short and the naked right now. What are we going to do if it breaks, if the buyers come in? And I'm a believer of accumulation, just keep poking at them. They stop selling. Volatility is what they need. As you can see in GDC, they need volatility. All that buying that traded, I've told you before, it's 323. We've been on the phone 43 minutes, we're up to 327. 4,000 shares is traded. After 300,000, the assault began. Now it's dried up. You can see and tell when they give up, when they stop selling. Short, that day was sitting there scratching his head too, saying, okay, someone's buying the stock. We can't get anybody to sell it. What do we do now? That's how the conversation. Whatever you're thinking on the long side when your stock goes down, they're doing it on the short side. They're thinking, oh my God, the stock won't go down. How do we cover? We better get out of this thing. Because when it goes up again, we're going to get wiped out. That's how they talk. How do I know that? Because I've been on the phone with people like
that. Is there anything else you can say about that AI company / rumor?
I don't know. Again, I don't even know. As far as I know, AI, I don't know much about AI. You know, I know it's a buzzword. That's all I know. But it's coming out of Asia, and that's all I know. And I think if anybody know anything more about it, would be people from Asia, not me. I was at a pickleball court. That's all I know.
Check Peach says she helped her friend. He got knee replacement. He moved to the cane on the third day.
All right.
And he's in his late 60s.
All right, thank you. We'll see what happens. But they won't take my voice, so I'll be here yapping away. I won't have to go anywhere, so I'll be right here riding a bicycle. So that's what I have going up. I got 2 broken toes, a bad left knee. I broke my pickleball paddle. I'm pissed off. And Jeff Easton's going to be my perfect medicine. Watching him get roasted and go to jail. I told you a shareholder gave me to the FBI, to the Special Securities Fraud Unit. We gave him all the details on it. I told you that on 25 days, I will reach out to Pat Byrne and set up a call with William. And we'll ask Pat Byrne what he has in store when he's in charge of stock settlement. We'll do that around 25. I don't want to do it now. I want to wait till they're really cringing, where there's no more room. 25 days before the election. I want them to squirm. Obviously, if you hadn't been my arm, I think the people trying to kill Trump, I think they're short sellers. I think that there's some bad characters here from offshore, and these guys need him to be gone because they're going to lose trillions of dollars on the short squeezes. Because he showed them what he's going to do. I don't think anybody cares that they're going to throw out illegal immigrants. I don't think anybody cares about that. I think the voting thing is pretty much over. Everyone knows that the Democratic Party side is making shit up. Everybody knows that. Everybody wants police protection. Everyone wants criminals to go to jail. What's going on with these big corporations, big hedge funds? Who are the short sellers? What governments are doing this to us? They're using us as a piggy bank. All right, I think it's got to be the short sellers. Not only that, they're shorting it right in front of the news. So obviously, these people have knowledge of the stock market. They leave a paper trail. If you go back and look, before the Twin Towers were hit, they were buying puts on the airlines and shorting the airline stocks. All right, so someone always knows, and that's what they were doing. So they're using the stock market, and there's a fingerprint. Listen, if you buy stock and you're buying options before a takeover, the SEC is knocking on your door. People are buying puts before assassination attempts, and you tell me no one's looking into it? Yeah, it's completely insane that they're not doing it. So that tells me they are doing it. Devin Nunes has been so quiet. The only time I heard him say anything was on John Tobacco's show, where he said they are investigating. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Chuck Peach says once the first week is over, you're going to be fine. Fine.
Let me ask that gentleman, how bad is the pain that everyone talks about this pain?
My prediction? Pain.
Everyone, my knee grinds now, so there's pain at night when I lay down. It's painful. Grinds.
It's going to be like you're giving birth.
Okay.
They don't. No one said that.
No, I don't know. I'm just trying to judge the pain. Man, listen, I have no choice at this point. As I get older, I want to be able to walk, and I can't have that grinding. It's the grinding on that's what it feels like.
I can't listen to the explanation.
Going down the stairs, going down up the stairs is brutal.
The bells.
When I go downstairs, I have to zigzag. I go side to side. I go left, right, left. I'm like this.
It's like short selling on the way down the stairs.
Right. So here we have a big trade at 2.2750. To me, that someone bought something, and I don't know if the volume was 91,000, maybe 1,000 shares. They naked shorted it at 2.2750. They won't even let it trade up. They're afraid if it trades at 30, there's your print now, a couple thousand shares. They're still 2.299, William. Why won't they let it sell at 2.30? They don't want, you understand, it's a head game. They don't want you to see positive. We don't want to see green. That's the whole game. They think that everybody on this phone call and everybody that owns the stock, when they see a red trade, they're going to surrender and run away. And that's why I keep trying to tell you the difference between this and GameStop is that people I knew were educated. And we were educated maybe 65% what was going on. And my group was the highest educated. Roaring Kitty was the 5% educated. He liked their business plan. Okay? I liked the naked shorting idea. So that's what I was pushing. He was pushing, the games in the stores.
The pain before the surgery is what's bad. Before the surgery.
See, I'm sorry. So I'm doing the step up then. I'm doing going the right direction. Thank you. That was my question.
As long as they don't get your middle knee.
I can use a trim there, buddy. But again, everyone, this is a head game. It's tough. They make these wild swings to get people to bail out. They want volatility. That's the name of the game. Volatility is how they win. When there's no volatility, they buy. They try to create volatility. Today, FingerMotion traded at 242. I think it was 50,000 shares in the morning. They pushed it down, then it turned up, and they pushed it down. Hurry up, it's selling. They sold it down to 225, and it stops dead. That was the volatility. It was the spike down. And if you give me 1 second, William, I can tell you exactly what they tried to do. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get it up. An interactive chart. Okay, we need a 1 day chart. And here it is. Hold on 1 second. All right, they sold, it looks like the first attack down from 241 straight down. The first bar is about, it looks like 15,000 shares were sold at the market. All right, that was in the morning. It traded about 18,000 to go up on the opening. There were 2 buys to go up. It went from 230 on 18,000, then another 17,000 took it to 242, so 35,000 took it up, and they tacked it down, selling 15,000 like that at the market, followed by two more sales of 4,000, 3,000, selling it at the market. And then we have another spike down to 224, and that was another 15,000. You can see the three bars that it goes down. I could post it. You can see it. You can see the volume. Hold on a second. Let me take a snapshot of it. And everybody can look on. If you go on Twitter, everybody, I'll put it up just so you can see it. You can actually see the volume, the bars, the red bars, and the green bars. A lot of bars there. I just put it up. You can see it right now. The first two green bars, the stock spiked from whatever 220 something up to, hold on a second, went from 2, on the side is the number 228, 230, went up to 241 on those two big green bars. And then you can see the attack straight down, ba-boom, 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 selling it, trying to make a low all the time.
Call for him. Pick Werner's fine. No
volume, it's sideways. I hope everyone can see that. I hope I explained it. Can you see that, everybody? Everybody's seeing it, understanding it?
I guess, yeah.
It's pretty easy to see. I just go to bar chart. I hit the 1-day chart. I'm doing it right now in GDC. Let me see what they did here. GDC, they sold it, and to break it from 520 going down, they had three red bars of 40,000, 20,000, and another 40,000 to drive it down to break $5. They sold it at the market to drive it always down. So they sold, 100,000 shares at the market, selling it as low as down to 450. You can see that also. This tells the whole story. Just look at these charts. You can actually see when they attack it. And if the SEC had any brains, they just have to look. Who sold all the shares? I'm just putting that up for you guys at GDC if you want to look at it. I just posted that. All you have to do is look at the red bars, and you can see when the attacks come. Stock's going sideways, nothing going on, just nothing. All of a sudden, they got to come in, sell 100 at the market, and sell it down as fast as you can. Again, just think about it. If you were long 100,000 shares, would you sell it at the market? Nobody does that. All right, so they hit FingerMotion, and now with 224 to 226, I lost track of the volume. I think it was 90-something thousand. I don't know what they just printed, but they just printed it 224.20. Again, I can't tell you enough. Again, if you're nervous about the market, you shouldn't be in it. All right, these attacks are commonplace. And it's funny, GDC and FingerMotion both were attacked. The market sold down at the same time. GDC was just 495, and they just sold like 10,000 and knocked it to 482. And FingerMotion, I think they sold 5,000 or 4,000 to get it to 224. That's it. There's nothing more I can say. You can follow the bouncing ball all day long. You should learn to follow it, even if you don't own it. This will teach you how to trade these names, any names that have these type of patterns. You'll understand a lot about them. You can see the spikes down. You can understand when they're coming. Like I said before, if you really want to be close to the vest, I wouldn't suggest to do it in FingerMotion because there's not, you're talking about 8 cents up and down. There's no room. But at GDC, which they're getting it now to have $1.50 swing, you could buy the dips, and when they rally back up, you can sell the rips. People do that all day long in Tesla and NVIDIA. You look at Tesla today. Tesla had a low of 228 and a high of 234 already. So I guess this is the dip. It opened up and just went straight up, I guess. But let's see NVIDIA. NVIDIA's down 94 cents. The low was 115.67, so it's near the low now. Do you buy it for the rip back up? It's the greatest company in the world these days, right?
I'd be careful if I saw something their chips are overheating. I haven't confirmed
Yeah, no,
that.
listen,
I
I'm
haven't
not saying-
confirmed that though.
Listen again. I'm not telling you to buy that. I'm just trying to tell you what people do.
I'm sure they'll get it fixed, whatever it is.
Listen, we have a gentleman that we met named William that works for Oracle. He said they delivered those chips in an armored car. So that's how important they are. They're afraid people are going to steal them. But again, as far as do they overheat, I don't know. I can ask. I can find. I can go.
So if finger squeezes, will you be able to see how high it's going to go, even though you
Yes.
cannot really trust the volume?
I can tell by the trading pattern how far it's going to go.
Okay.
But I have to wait till it goes. I can't say it now. I can tell whether, let's say the stock spikes FingerMotion from here to 7. Remember, 7 was where they beat it down when the capybara fake report came out.
Sure.
Once it breaks that number, all right, if people aren't selling into it at 7, then it's easily a run to 20, 30 real quick. If people aren't dumping there, the shorts are starting to panic and cover, and the stock's jumping $5 and there's no selling. Like maybe it goes up $5 on 200,000 shares. That means no selling. That means it's going further and further and further.
I've got 3 minutes and I have to hang up.
No problem.
Could it be? I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. Could they have made the buys to suck us in, and then when we bought, they sold? That's true of most.
That is true for real shorts. These are moron shorts. I told you every day, if I was the short, I'd make this stock gap, not sucking buying it up to 240. There's no room. If they took it to $4 and pushed it down, yes, I would agree with you. That could be a probability. But to 240, they're wasting their time. It didn't trade 50,000 shares. It traded 18,000 shares going up. But there's nothing happened. If they took it to $4 and it went up real fast, it would look like a short covering, then I would agree with you. That stock that spiked yesterday to 39, that was a short panicking. When the short finished covering, the stock dropped like it was felt like jumped out of a plane. That's what a short looks like when they cover. That's a prime broker saying cover that guy, buy it at the market. I don't care what you pay for it, buy it. They bought every share in that the guy was short, shut him off, and the stock dropped. There's no buy. Who's buying the stock at $39? It just opened up at 4. What are you, insane?
Yeah.
You don't even look at those things. You can't short them and you can't buy. You couldn't even borrow a share to short. The only people who were shorting that stock yesterday were new naked shorts. No, when the old naked short was blown out. That's how that works. So don't even look at those names. I know professional guys that can't even borrow a share that like to short those things, so they can't get them. So it's all make-believe, so don't even look at it. Okay, I wish I could short that.
You have 1 minute to wrap up your thoughts.
I have no more thoughts. Anyway, listen, everyone, you know the game. You know what's going on. Accumulation is the king. 36 trading days at 4 o'clock. The days go down. 25, I'll get Pat Byrne. 230 million naked shorts. I told you I stopped adding to it. 1.7 million is the real short. Shortsqueeze.com. You can see the data yourself. Shorts don't let the stocks go up because they cannot meet margin calls. If you were a short seller, why would you want the stock to go higher? If you believe the fundamentals are not going to work, let it go higher, and then it eventually collapse. They can't even let it go up for a minute. FingerMotion was up to 240 for a minute. They're trying to hold it down. A minute. That's your desperation. Anyway, we're going to go have your call, everyone.
Right,
have a great day.
Call ended.
When the days dwindle down to a precious few, November, December, oh, these few precious hours. Will this stock go up even if the rate cut or recession? Look, I'll just tell you that you've been trained and you're a human being all human beings judge the future based on the last 2 years of experience. The overall markets may be hurt by all of this, the indexes and the 6 or 7 stocks. My boss used to tell me, when you go into a bear market, it stops being a stock market and it becomes a market of stocks. And yes, you can make money in one stock such as this. All right, I'm going to sign off. I just have to. It has to be quick. I apologize for my abruptness, and I appreciate that everybody signed in, and we'll catch you down the highway.